Let's get up on the tubers. All right, so we got to go after this Andy Pavlin. We can do it. Got to avenge Poker Bras. The rich get richer. Knock it off. Up here, we're all in with ace-10. I think it's a little bit loose for most situations, but got a recreational player here opening for min. I think the range is probably going to be a little wide, and we might actually get called by just a bunch of super junky hands, given that we're the one of the short stacks of the table. Obviously, other than this guy. And then up here, just going to call with my nines. Try to play pot in position. Flop some sets. Nothing happened on the party poker tournament. Just been folding our hands, so we'll get back to that. We'll call one here. I'll probably fold to a double barrel unless it's really, really small. And the problem is he can have like hands like queens, jacks, tens that play the same line. I guess there are some ace queen type hands, ace jack type hands that might have done that as well, but I think I'm just going to check back with my nines here instead of try to go for a thin value bet. Yeah, and we're never getting, I mean, I'm not going to turn my hand into a bluff to get that hand to fold either. He's been he's been 3-betting at 11%, but it's a small sample, but he's also been kind of passive, so maybe he'll check and let us see some flops. We'll check the flop, and then bet turn, bet river. We'll check the turn on this one. Turn our hand into a bluff catcher, and now we'll just bet. Very small bounty, can't really call with my 10-7 suited. Over here, in the other Party Poker PKO, we've got the nut flush. We don't block queen 9, so I guess there could be one straight flush that has us totally crushed here, but I want to make a small raise that I think he can call with some of his weaker flushes and maybe like 2 pairs and stuff. And he just folds. I mean, when he's betting that small, I think it's going to be hard for him to bluff the river for us. From January, yes, January 16th on, I'm going to be playing and streaming full-time, guys. Ah, now my alerts are working. DTITT, man, thank you for that follow. I appreciate that. What a just horrendous flop. I think we steal our betting. Protection and some value. And I don't know if we can fold to a jam either. But we'll be kind of sad about it. All right. I'll be done with this one. Let's sweat the all-in over here with our ace-queen in the big 1650. Even with this guy going all in, I think ace-queen's just a little bit too strong in our stack size to fold. Especially when he's pretty short as well. Andy Pavlin knocks out another guy, getting it all in with 10-4 pre-flop. And hits 2 4s. Guy just can't lose. We just need an ace. No good. So we're out of that one. In the big blind, I would call this. In the small blind, when he can reshove with a pretty wide range, I think we're just going to fold the ace-6. I mean, we're actually in some pretty big trouble here. So it got opened. I donked. This guy called. This guy who's just playing way too many hands raised, and I just jammed. I think our 8s is plenty strong versus his range. But then he pretty quickly called, and I think we're in some trouble. I guess he could have a hand like 6-5 or I guess something like that we're doing well against. But like I said, I just thought we were totally fine against his range. I think that call's a little bit optimistic there with the 9-10. Which is why I thought we were in trouble. I actually didn't expect to see hands like that show up. So that worked out pretty nice for us. We're our first out of 44 in this tournament. Here we got a couple limpers. Raising it up. Out of position here, making it 6x. We're actually going to up this guy to the perp. I'm not going to bet into 2 guys that are limping and calling. If it was heads up, I might consider bluffing. All right, now we're betting for value, but turn my hand into a semi-bluff. It's hilarious that I'm recording in order to show the final table that I'm at, and I haven't showed hardly any hands in it, and we're already down to 4-handed just because the Andy Pavlin guy's knocked out literally every single guy. Let's try to focus more on this one. He's just been getting it all in and then sucking out like hand after hand after hand, and I haven't played anything, so there's nothing really for me to show. But it's a nice flop for us. I'm gonna check back here. I would check back like a lot of my kings, maybe some of my weaker ace-x. I guess I don't have like many total air hands, but some of my weaker hands with showdown value would probably get checked back on this board texture. All right, now we're just gonna bet like half pot and hope that he has like a 10 or something that can continue here. Chances are he's probably got a whole bunch of nothing. Not gonna bluff yet on this board here. Let's check back and hit that 10. Now we'll just call down. I'll call a river bet as well. I think he's gonna try to bluff at a high frequency on this river, and I think he's got a super wide range. The overbet is a little bit tricky though. I actually think we have a fair number of ace-x in our range that get to the river this way. It's a good bet by him. I think I'm going to make a tight fold. pretty much done with this hand, so let's go over here to our pocket aces. And over here we're raising ace 3. And have to call versus this guy. Oh. 6. Also, I think there's a pretty good fraction of like ace-x hands in his snap checking range on that flop. So that's another thing where on the ace river I'm a little bit more hesitant to call. Well, we're 0 for 2 there, guys. Easy fold to a jam here by either of these guys. Let's check out the party poker scene, make sure we're not missing any tournaments. We got the big 33, we're in that one. The Bandit with the 22 Saturday specials coming up. We're going to play the big 82. We got 2 overs. We got a backdoor flush draw, backdoor straight draw as well. Definitely calling here. That's the wrong suit. It's the wrong one. On a heart, we can continue to call or do other stuff, but not much we could do there. Oh, our chip stack went the wrong way pretty quickly. We got to win this one, guys. Probably feels like I'm just never fighting back against this guy, but I've really never had a hand that was worth trying to fight back with. Is our main problem. I mean, my goal isn't just to let him run me over completely, but I do have to let him a little bit with some of the ICM considerations of the 2 shorter stacks. Nice, we'll go for a check raise here on this one. I want to bet small enough where like his 8s can keep calling. He could maybe consider bluffing with a 10 type hand. And some of his overpairs can consider calling, things like that. Quads. Oh my god. Well, we're just going to go all in and hope he has an 8. I don't think he can ever fold an 8. And I don't know if he always value it, jams it for us. He did have an 8. Picked up some chips there and a bounty. Let's hope we scoop up this bounty, and then we're going to battle it out heads up. I almost could consider overbetting this turn, but he sized down. I think he sensed that I'm just folding a bunch. He's got to get me to fold. HUD is a web hub or hold management. Macau, I use, on Party Poker and Poker Stars, I use this HUD here. Hand to note. Very, very powerful software. I'm going to call again. I don't know if I really want to fold a pair versus this guy. I'll fold on the river. But he's just so wide. You can see he gave up on the river with like something that could never win at showdown, so it's a pretty good sign for us. And we'll just call and let him bluff for us. I think we want to rep. Yeah, I think we want to rep like a missed flush draw or a flush or like a full house and go pretty big. Got him. And I will bet on this board. I think there's a lot of check folds here. He snap check calls, and I'm not interested in like turning it into a multi-street bluff. Nice, good pair for us. Just giving him a chance to bluff. I'm gonna donk out on this river. I think we're gonna get called by Jack some of the time. Queen 10's gonna call. And we'll have some bluffs here occasionally. So in his mind, I think. Now we split it up. I'm not sure. You want me to change the deck appearance? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking for there, man. We got a pair here. We're certainly calling. Just gonna check back and try to get the showdown. I guess I'll make it 3x versus this guy. He's been pretty tight. I'm gonna make it 3x and I'll actually fold to a jam versus him. He's been very, very tight. starting with the call again. That's a terrible turn. Real quick here, we 3-bet pre-flop, we get this flop. Small bet, he raises, we're all in. Pretty easy, I think. And we get to fold, that's fine. Same thing here. We're just going to open and fold to a jam. He does jam. Fold. So you don't like the color of the cards, I'm guessing is what you're saying? I don't know, man. I'll leave it like this for now. I mean, you're the first person that's complained, and I do have a lot of people that watch me on mobile. But for me, I think it's... I mean, if a ton of people complain, I'll make the sacrifice for myself. But for me, it's very nice because if I'm multi-tabling, playing a bunch of tables, when I have this multicolored deck, it's a lot easier for me to spot, flushes and things like that. And sometimes all I have is a glance to kind of check and see what's up. And, if you're playing a bunch of tables, you want to make it as as hard as you can for yourself to make mistakes. And that's what this does, is it just makes it harder for me to make mistakes, which is pretty important. I'm just going to give up on this board when this guy calls. We do. We're super deep, man. Me and this guy basically scooped up everybody. I do think I need to check here. This guy's could be going for a lot of check raises. So by checking, I don't give him the chance, and we get to see what both of these guys do. For example, if he bets large here, and then he calls, and we could fold. And when he's donking the two players on this turn, I'm going to shut her down. Looks like he was probably going for a check raise on the flop. What's up, Sacky Jones 54? What did he say? Not sure what you're asking, man. Man, give me some love on the flops. We're going to have to remember that he's bet twice when we've checked to him and go for some check raises for sure. But not with hands like that. I'm fine with just giving it up for now. I'm going to bet small here for some protection on this board. Turn my hand to like a semi-bluff on like an 8 or a 5, potentially. This kind of turn we'll check back and might bluff catch on some blank rivers. I'm going to 3-bet here. Now this board is just so connected with, like, there's nothing that whiffed. And I'm just going to check back. Yeah, that's nice for us. All right, now we're gonna bet and rep the ace king that checked back. I know it's just a couple combos in our range, but I think we got to do it. trying to check back and get showdown here. He's probably going to overbet this river. What a flop. Board no problem, just hand size, some big. Look, yeah, there's not, I don't think I can change the sizes of them, unfortunately, man. And I can't change the size of the chips either, because these are probably pretty hard to read. I mean, we block like everything. We're just going to give him a chance to bluff. And I'll check the river and hope he can keep bluffing, even on a diamond. Maybe I'll have ace, king, raise, queen, and he just keeps value betting for us. That would be sweet. Nothing. King 7. We're getting the bluffs. And all of a sudden this guy's just spazzing out. He was like playing tight and pretty straightforward for a while. Now he's just getting crazy. I'm on a limp. He's jammed a couple times now. We can limp call with his hand. And we were going for the check raise. Didn't get it. Now we're just betting. I'm going to check call here. There's like a lot of flush draws and stuff like that that missed. And I do think he has some eights, and I don't want to bet and give him a chance to raise here. So I think turning this into a bluff catcher feels the best to me. He did have an 8. There's not really much we can do about that. I still think trying to bluff catch like we did there is our best option. You 200 no limit, 12 big blinds per 100. That was at 200 no limit years ago when the games were quite a bit softer and it was heads up, which winning at plus over 10 big blinds per 100 was somewhat common for the top regs. So I mean, yeah, I think it was still very good for the time, but it definitely isn't as impressive as someone who would do it right now, that's for sure. And we're gonna bet here for value, repping some of the missed draws. I think he can have 9x, 10x that got to the river. They can call us. That's like the second time I flopped a flush versus this guy. I'm just crushing him. I want to overbet here on his turn. Not max, though. I think he can have a lot of king X that's not going to be able to fold there. He can have some like queen high flush draws and stuff like that that might consider calling. But when he snap check calls, I don't think we're getting like any check raises on the turn. The only way for us to really get stacks in would be to get an overbetted on the turn. Hey, poker bras. Let's hope he punts it all off. I'm hoping. Oh, on that hand, on the ace-10 hand? Yeah, he didn't. He did not do any kind of punting for us. I'm just going to turn my hand into a bluff on this flop. On average, how long should it take someone to get decent at poker? I mean, there's going to be a wide variation in that, but I think If you're starting, I mean, from your very first hand ever playing poker to getting decent, I'm going to check raise this turn. I would say at least about 6 months to where you're being able to win consistently. Actually, when he's betting this large, I think he's reasonably polarized, and so we're just going to keep our hand as a bluff catcher here. And we'll check call the river. All right, now he's betting so small that I actually think we can check raise for value. I don't think I want to check jam. That seems like a little bit too much. But it looks like he's value betting like a king, queen, queen, jack type hand here. And I think we can get some more value out of it. Queen 9. We were a little off. Wonder if that guy would call on overshove on the river when we had the ace 10. There might be parts of his range that would consider doing that. Who's going to win it? Oh, they both had chances. That was a sweat right there. I don't think I'm ever going to donk into him, though, when he's the one with the betting initiative, and I think his range is, I don't know, pretty bluff heavy, given that we block everything. I don't think I would ever want to donk, jam into him. Certainly calling a jam if he does jam. He snap folds. Check back here and bluff catch on the river. Jesus, the overbets. Well, I'm not going to bluff catch versus an overbet. Especially a 3x overbet. I think we can just fold a ton. And have to be fine with that. If I had some kind of, like the ace blocker, maybe I would, or like some 10 blockers there to block straights and flushes, I would probably consider calling with my hand, but not there. Not there. The 3x overbet seems pretty extreme. Just going to bet here for protection of value. Real quick here, guys. We got a limper. We're all in. Pretty short stacked in this party poker tournament. We got ace jack. And he calls with 210. And we're out of the tournament. Okay. I lost my head, so I couldn't mark it. Well, that one didn't fare very well. I'm actually going to race here for value. Nope. All right, I guess we don't get to limp anymore. We'll just jam ourselves or have some limp calling range, but that's twice that he's jammed over our limps. Queen 9 suited I would call here. I think we can fold Queen 9 off. I mean, we might not even want to fold Queen 9 off getting the price that we're getting, but I'm going to play with just a slightly stronger range against him. Man, give me some hands. Real quick over here, we flopped a set. I potted into 2 players. This guy called. I'm going to check and give him a chance to bluff for us. This is a board I think that he can find a lot of bluffs with his flush draws. And once he's put in a bet, I think we're just going to check raise. Oh, he flopped a flush. Getting pretty lucky there. I'm going to 3-bet this hand. Casual 3x pot on her. Just casually. Should have got him with king 6. I guess I would have do blade. If he's going to shut down after his turn, bluff didn't work, he's probably not punting often enough. Yeah, it's tough to really know what his range is, but I mean, when we block everything that could possibly, I mean, we have the 10. Like if I had whatever the turn card was, if I had that instead of the 10, I think we might want to consider maybe some donk, like some small block bet donks or something like that, in order to get calls from the 10. I think when we have the 10 and block a lot of the combos and stuff like that, I think we just want to let him bluff. All right, now that we're a lot deeper, we can not expect him to jam over the top of us. Check, and when he checks back, we'll bet the turn. Expect a lot of folds versus whatever. No way. Really? I get a walk that time? 1 out of 100 hands we played, he walks me? It's brutal. That's pretty gross. We got a pair. I just don't think I can fold from him with a first hand with a pair after we check back the flop. It's interesting that he didn't choose to overbet the river there when he had what should be the nuts against my range. I'm not going to read too much into that, but it's a little bit interesting. Here we are all in. And we're 3-betting again with the 9s. Willing to get it all over him. And then they were heads up. Let's go, guys. I think the best thing for you guys to do would probably actually be to, like, what combos does he get to the river with? Like, what combos can call a bluff? What frequency are they calling a bluff? Like, I guess, I don't really remember the hand, but maybe we can pull it up on Card Owner TV and, like, do an actual analysis and come up with a definite answer. But I do think, one, saying he never calls a bet from us if we donk into him, saying he never does that, I think, is incorrect. And also, I think that saying he never bluffs when we check to him is incorrect. So the best thing to do would be to actually look at his range, look at how many potential bluffs he has, and assign him some small percent if you think he's never going to bluff. There's still going to be some small percent, right? And see if that percent is more valuable than the percent that can call the bet. And the only way to really actually be definitive is to go through his range, go through all the combos, go through all the percents, you know, make some assumptions and see how the math works out. We do have the backdoor straights, but I don't think it's enough for me to want to call on this board. All right, let's go here. Here I check raise the flop, and these guys both called me, so I'm just going to keep betting the turn for value against him. Here we're obviously just calling against check raise. Just going to keep calling. Got him. That's pretty much Turner right there, people. Oh, I thought we were going to get his stack. Can't fold for these stack sizes. there's a freaking break. Boo. Here we are all in. I'll just call and give him a chance to bluff the turn. But we're basically all in. I don't think I'm ever folding here. We started the pot with 20 big blinds. Having top pair, top kicker on the flop is pretty good. The queen is a little bit concerning because he could have queen jack. But I think there's flush draws. I think there's other things like jack 10 or stuff that are spazzing out. And obviously there's fours in his range too. I think there are some fours, but I just can't fold his hand. Oh, so he turned the top pair. Good for him. We're out of that one. I mean, blocking the straights, we could consider check jamming here. But he's repping like 2 pairs and sets and then a bunch of... This is kind of interesting. I'm actually tempted to call as well. I mean, it's kind of polarized here. Maybe he could do this with king, queen. In that case, we're kind of shooting ourselves in the foot. If he can like do this with ace, king, king, queen. Maybe even queen, jack. But I don't know if all those hands bet this. We do have the straight draw to back us up. We are actually ahead some of the time. I'm going to make a kind of a thin call. The problem with me tanking so long is he's realizing that I have a hand that had a tough decision on the turn. And I think if he's reading into my time banking, he can probably bluff the river pretty lightly. But I still don't think I can make a call here. It's tempting, especially on the 6. We got him. Super polarized. Holy crap. All right, that worked out. All right, we're back and we're calling. Flop the straight. We took him out, guys. I almost missed showing it, but we got him. We freaking got him. I can't believe I was showing the wrong table.